Most people think you can tell a man loves you by what he says, but the real truth is revealed in what he does when no one's watching, especially in bed. Any man can undress you, but only one who truly loves you will reveal his soul in the quiet moments after. Sometimes the deepest kind of love isn't loud or poetic. It's in the way he touches you, holds you, slows down for you. It's in the gentleness, the presence, the way he sees you when the rest of the world fades away. And if you've ever felt it, that quiet, undeniable shift, you already know. There are certain things a man will only ever do in bed when he's deeply, completely in love. When a man is deeply in love, everything about how he approaches intimacy begins to change. You'll notice it most clearly in the way he prioritizes your pleasure over his own. Not just occasionally, not just to impress you, but consistently. This shift isn't about performance, it's about presence. It's about how much he genuinely wants to see you happy, comfortable, and completely fulfilled. When a man truly loves you, your pleasure becomes part of his purpose. He doesn't see the experience as something transactional or goal-driven. He's not looking at it as just a way to feel good for himself. He's looking at it as an opportunity to connect with you on a deeper level. And that shows in 100 small moments. He pays attention not just to your words, but to your body language, your breath, your energy. He becomes more curious about what makes you feel good, what makes you relax, what makes you feel safe. And that curiosity isn't something he fakes. It's not a tactic. It's not some trick he read about or advice from a friend. It's coming from a place inside him that genuinely cares about your experience. He starts learning your rhythm, your signals, your patterns, and most importantly, he adapts to them not because he has to, but because he wants to. That's one of the biggest signs of love, effort without obligation. When a man is in love, effort doesn't feel like work. It feels natural. It feels right. You might notice that he starts asking you things he didn't before. Not just did you enjoy that, but real intimate questions like what do you like or how do you feel right now? He starts opening the door to deeper communication in a space where many people are too scared to even knock. He wants feedback, not to fix something, but to grow together. And the thing is, you won't even feel like you're being asked for answers. It'll feel like being understood without needing to explain. It goes beyond the physical too. When he loves you, he'll start noticing how intimacy impacts you emotionally. He'll see when you feel truly connected. He'll feel the energy shift if you're holding back. He'll want to know how to make you feel seen, not just desired. And he'll begin to understand that sometimes your pleasure starts long before you're in bed together. It might begin with how he looks at you, how he touches you during the day, how he speaks to you when no one else is listening. Love brings awareness, and when that awareness shows up in the bedroom, it's undeniable. Even if he once saw sex as something just physical, once he's in love, it transforms. It becomes layered, it becomes emotional. It becomes generous, and that generosity can't be faked. You'll feel it in the way he slows down, in the way he pays attention, in the way he makes space for you to feel fully comfortable. He doesn't rush, he doesn't pressure, he doesn't center himself. He gives, and not because he's trying to earn something back, but because it makes him happy to make you happy. There's a quiet confidence in a man who's in love and committed to making you feel good. He's not worried about proving anything. He's not chasing a performance high. He's creating something with you, something that builds trust, something that deepens connection, something that you both walk away from feeling a little more known, a little more bonded, a little more real. When he's deeply in love, he's not afraid to make you the center of the moment. That doesn't make him less of a man. In fact, it makes him more. because it takes strength to set ego aside and focus entirely on someone else's experience. It takes maturity to understand that true intimacy isn't about dominance or control. It's about mutual connection. And love makes that connection the goal. When you look back on your most powerful intimate experiences, chances are they weren't about the wildest moves or the most passionate moments. They were about how someone made you feel, how they made you feel safe, seen, heard, adored. That's what love does. It brings out the version of him that wants to give more than he takes. And when a man is truly in love, he doesn't just want to be with you, he wants to elevate you. That's when you know it's real. When a man is deeply in love, the pace of everything in the bedroom shifts. It's no longer about rushing toward a physical release. It becomes about the connection, the presence, the feeling of being completely in sync with someone else. Lust is impulsive, fast, often chaotic. Love, on the other hand, is thoughtful. It's slow, not because of hesitation, but because he wants to feel everything. And that difference is subtle, but powerful. You begin to notice it in the way he touches you. There's intention behind it. He's not just going through motions. He's listening to you, not just with his ears, but with his entire body. He's responding to every reaction, every sigh, every movement. When a man slows down in bed because he's in love, it's not just about drawing out the moment, it's about honoring it. He isn't in a hurry to get to the end. He wants to stay in every part of the journey with you. He'll hold your face a little longer, run his hands along your skin like he's memorizing every inch. His kisses feel different, slower, deeper, more meaningful. It's not about how many times or how intense it gets. It's about the quality of every second he shares with you. He's fully there, not distracted, not in his own world. His attention is locked on you and everything else fades. Eye contact becomes one of the most intimate acts between you. He'll look at you, not just glance at you, but truly look. And in that look, you'll feel a level of closeness that words can't create. It's the kind of eye contact that tells you he's not hiding, that he's open, that he sees you, and he wants to be seen too. There's vulnerability in that. There's trust. And that's something that doesn't happen with just anyone. That only happens when love strips away the layers of ego and performance and leaves behind nothing but the truth of who he is with you. In those moments, silence becomes part of the language. You don't need to talk. You can just exist together in the quiet, in the softness, in the space between the movements. It's in those spaces where you feel the depth of his emotion, where you sense the weight of how much he cares. There's no urgency to move faster, no fear of awkward pauses. He lets the moment breathe because he's not trying to escape it, he's savoring it. Even in the most passionate moments, the love is present. You can feel it in the way he checks in with you, not always with words, but with a look, a touch, a shift in pace. He's attuned to you. He's not trying to dominate the moment or impress you with what he can do. He's trying to meet you exactly where you are, with tenderness and awareness. That's what love looks like in real time. It's thoughtful, responsive, and deeply considerate. There's also a protective energy that shows up when he slows down like this. It's not about controlling you, it's about making sure you're okay, emotionally and physically. He wants you to feel safe, not just in the room, but in his arms, in his presence, in the way he touches you. And that safety allows you to let go in ways you never could with someone who is only in it for themselves. That's what deep love creates. It builds a space where you don't have to perform either, where you can just be, and that's enough. What makes this kind of slow, emotional intimacy so rare is that it requires vulnerability. It requires him to let down his guard and be fully open with you. And that's not something men do easily unless they truly trust you, unless they've let love guide their actions. When he's deeply in love, he starts to realize that intimacy is not about conquest. It's about communion. It's about creating something together that neither of you could experience alone. In that slow, emotionally connected space, the smallest moments become the most powerful. A soft kiss on the forehead, the way he wraps himself around you afterward, the way he lingers beside you instead of rolling away. These are the quiet, almost invisible gestures that speak the loudest. They say, "I'm here." They say, and when you feel those messages being sent without a single word, that's when you know you're not just with a man, you're with someone who's truly, deeply in love. When a man is deeply in love, something shifts inside him that most people never get to see unless they've earned his full trust. That shift is vulnerability, and one of the clearest places it shows up is in bed. Not just during the act itself, but in the quiet spaces before, during, and after. When love enters the picture, intimacy becomes more than a physical connection. It becomes a doorway to emotional exposure. A man who is in love doesn't just want to be close to you physically, he wants to let you in, not just into his body, but into his thoughts, his fears, his stories, his heart. It's a version of him that isn't always confident or polished. Sometimes it's raw, sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's messy, but it's real. You may notice it in the way he speaks to you in those soft moments when the world seems to pause, when you're lying beside each other and the walls come down, not with a bang, but with a quiet surrender. He may start sharing things he hasn't told anyone else, things about his childhood, his insecurities, his doubts, his ambitions, the things he's scared of, not because he needs validation, but because he trusts you to hold those truths without judgment. That trust is not easy for most men. For a man to be emotionally open, especially in the most physically exposed state, is a sign that you mean something far deeper to him than anyone else has. Sometimes vulnerability doesn't come in full sentences, it comes in fragments. It comes in the way he reaches for your hand without thinking, in the way his voice softens when he says your name, in the way his eyes linger on yours like he's trying to communicate something words can't capture. He may ask questions he never asked before, not about the physical, but about your mind and your heart. He wants to know how you're really doing, what you're really feeling, because now your emotional world matters to him just as much as your physical closeness. And then there's the kind of silence that only love can hold, the silence that's not uncomfortable but intimate, the kind where he doesn't feel the need to fill space with words because he trusts that being next to you is enough. In those moments he might just hold you tighter. He might rest his head on your chest or let you rest on his. These aren't just habits, they're expressions of connection. A man who's in love doesn't just want to be with you in those moments, he wants to feel safe with you. And when he lets himself show emotion, whether it's through a tear, a sigh, or even just a shaky breath, that's love choosing honesty over ego. He may even share fears he's never voiced before. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of losing you, the fear of failing. When a man brings these truths into your shared space, it's because he no longer sees intimacy as performance. He sees it as refuge, a place where he can finally take the mask off. Because in the outside world he may feel the pressure to be strong, stoic, unshaken, but with you, in that room, in that bed, he gets to be flawed, he gets to be himself. It's easy to miss how important this is because we often think vulnerability is something dramatic or obvious, but more often it's subtle. It's the way he lets his guard down in how he speaks to you. It's in how he reacts when you touch his face or kiss his forehead. It's in how he lets you hold him instead of always being the one to hold you. It's in the little cracks in his armor that you notice only when you're paying attention. And those cracks aren't weaknesses, they're openings. Openings that say, this is who I really am. Can you still love me here? That kind of vulnerability doesn't happen overnight. It's something that builds slowly, moment by moment. But when it shows up, it's the clearest sign that this man isn't just physically close to you, he's emotionally invested. He's willing to be seen, even in the places where he doesn't have all the answers. That's what love does. It makes a man brave enough to be soft. It gives him permission to drop the act, to let go of the need to impress, and to just show up as he is. Because when he's deeply in love, being real with you becomes more important than looking perfect. There's a kind of gentleness that only shows up when a man is deeply in love, and it reveals itself most clearly in the intimate, unguarded moments in bed. This gentleness isn't about being soft in the generic sense. It's not about always being slow or tender physically. It's about an emotional awareness that shows up even in the heat of passion. When a man truly loves you, he learns to recognize the emotional layers of intimacy. He starts paying attention to the subtle cues, the silent signals, the energy between you. Even if the moment is wild or intense, he carries a sense of care that wraps around every action. It's the difference between being with someone who's just physically present and someone who is emotionally attuned to what you need, even when you don't say it out loud. This gentleness shows up in the way he touches you, not just during the moments of build-up, but in the quiet transitions. It's in how he places his hand on your back to hold you close afterward. It's in how he wraps himself around you like he's trying to protect something precious. It's in how he responds if you flinch or pause or seem unsure. He doesn't keep going just because he's caught up in the moment. He stops, he checks in, he adapts. That adaptability is a sign of deep emotional investment. He's not stuck in his own desire. He's locked into your shared experience, and he wants to protect it. Even in the most heated, passionate expressions of love, that emotional gentleness doesn't disappear. In fact, it becomes more visible in how he balances intensity with care. He might kiss you deeply, but pull back just to look in your eyes and ask if you're okay. He might whisper something that grounds you in the moment, reminding you that this is not just about physical release, it's about trust. When he's in love, he understands that love doesn't mean being careful instead of passionate. It means being aware through the passion. Sometimes this gentleness comes out in small, almost invisible moments. Like when he tucks your hair behind your ear without thinking, when he kisses the top of your head when the world feels too quiet, when he strokes your arm slowly while you're lying in silence. These aren't actions meant to impress, they're instinctive responses from someone who cares deeply. It's how he's saying, "You're safe with me," without needing to say anything at all. There's also a kind of emotional intelligence that comes with this gentleness. He doesn't just touch your body, he senses your mood. He notices if your energy shifts. He becomes aware of the things that make you feel loved, and he uses that awareness to guide how he shows up for you. If you seem withdrawn, he doesn't push. If you're emotional, he holds space for it. If you need more than just physical closeness, he offers presence instead of pressure. That kind of patience is love in action. He's not afraid of the emotional parts of intimacy. In fact, he embraces them. He'll stay there in the quiet with you, even when there's nothing exciting or dramatic happening. He'll trace circles on your skin just because he wants you to feel connected. He'll hold you a little tighter if you pull him closer in your sleep. All of these things might seem small, but they're massive indicators of how deeply he feels for you. When a man is deeply in love, his gentleness isn't conditional. It doesn't only show up when things are going well, it stays when things are awkward, when emotions are high, when you're tired or quiet or not in the mood to talk. It's not performative, it's rooted. And it says, even here, in this version of you, I'm still choosing to love you gently. You'll notice that his ego isn't driving the moment. He doesn't need to prove himself or dominate the experience. He doesn't feel threatened by silence or uncertainty. Instead, he's present, he's calm, he's still. Because being close to you isn't about validation, it's about connection. And when a man reaches that level of connection, the way he loves you shifts. It becomes more patient, more observant, more kind. Not because he's trying to win anything, but because your comfort, your peace, your joy, that becomes just as important to him as his own. That's the kind of gentleness that doesn't fade. It lingers. It stays long after the moment is over. And it's often the clearest sign that what he feels isn't just desire, it's love. When a man is deeply in love, the way he shows up in the bedroom is no longer just about attraction or desire. It becomes an extension of his heart. He starts prioritizing your pleasure, not because he's trying to impress you, but because your happiness genuinely matters to him. He slows down because he wants to be fully present with you, to connect on a level that goes beyond the physical. He opens up emotionally, letting you into the parts of him that he usually keeps hidden from the world, and that vulnerability becomes the foundation of deeper trust. And through it all, whether the moment is passionate or quiet, he moves with a gentleness that can't be faked. A kind of care that proves love is guiding every touch, every word, every pause. In these moments, you don't just feel wanted, you feel chosen, valued, safe. And that's how you know it's real. Because when a man is truly in love, intimacy becomes something sacred. It becomes a space where both people are seen, heard, and loved. Not just in body, but in soul.